Hello everybody, good morning. We're kind of excited because New Visions podcast begins.
Yay!
Just a few words when it will be your turn. We are New Visions Theatre. We do live theatre, but obviously, who could refuse the call for the big internet? So yeah, here we are on our podcast. But hey, we're not alone. We got two very special guests. Please, introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'll start. So I'm Rozie. I'm a Prague-based actress and dancer, and I also teach English, which is what is paying the bills, but I'm actually quite enjoying it.
Lovely. I'm Antoanella. I'm an actor based in Prague. I love to do theater, film. I have a little bit of experience with television. And yes, I'm excited to be here.
Very good, great. I am Guglielmo. I will be your host for today. Now, let's go into this amazing new thing for me. It's my first time, so please, bear with me.
Same here, my friend. It's okay.
That is good. Now, let's start with you before we delve into the concept of the podcast. Are you perhaps working on something? Do you want to do a little shout out for something?
I would start because indeed I'm in a production that's premiering just next week.
That's a hot topic.
Yes, it's a period piece from 1920s. It's called Cat's Meow, and I'm excited. It's going to be interesting. We're dancing. We're going to have a band on stage, and we're now in tech rehearsals. So yes, I'm excited to be in this production indeed.
That's grand.
And I've also seen the socials or the marketing that you guys do, and it looks really fantastic, I have to say.
I'm glad.
Excited to see you soon.
Very well then. Now, a little bit about the concept. We're gonna let us be inspired by some Reddit stories. Reddit stories, so it's a social media. People go there, they post their questions, experiences, and people react to it. And why don't we also join and react to them? All of our stories are gonna be taking place in the magical world of theatre.
Yay.
Now, let's start with the first one, the title. Theatre as a career.
Ooh, heavy one. Okay, go ahead.
I have been having a lot of conflicting thoughts about these recently. I, 18 years old male, got into theatre pretty late. I was like 14 or 15. But ever since I have started, I have absolutely fallen in love with theatre and acting. I dream of being able to do this as a career, but I never thought it was realistic for me. That's for rich people who get to make money doing what they want, is what I thought. But I see people online who can do it. They aren't rich or glamorous, but they make enough money to live and seem happy. In the past 4 or 5 months, I have seriously considered going to school for theatre and trying to make a career out of it. I know it will be hard. Trust me, I know. People won't believe I can do it, and money will be tight. But the thought of doing anything else as a career makes scared. I will be miserable and regret at least not trying. So I am asking those who do act professionally, is it truly worth it? How can I convince my family and other people that this isn't a stupid dream, but something I can actually do? I don't think I've ever wanted anything more, and I am willing to bust my ass so hard for this. I just don't know where I should go from here. Any thoughts?
Oh, wow. I mean, first off, my first reaction would be, is 14 late?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
that's the one thing that really caught my eye, because I think I speak kind of for both of us, but we discovered performing arts and doing it professionally way later than that. In my case, it was last year, I was the ripe old age of 27. So
What year does someone have to be born in to be considered old?
I feel like 2001.
Yeah, 2001.
Okay, why 2001?
Because I feel like at that age you're just like old.
you know, I don't think there is no such thing as starting late. That's, yeah, first off, that would be my first comment. But it's a loaded question, so yeah.
I would also refer to something that you said about having to convince the family.
You don't know anything about me!
Who was that guy?
Family, in my view,
Yeah.
shouldn't have to be convinced. I think the family should support a budding soul into anything that they want to do, and it shouldn't need any convincing. It should need support. It should be ideas, on an ideal basis. If not, I think just one should it's always a first step, and then after this first step, there's a second step, and then there's a third step, and then there's a little bit of speed. Get into the community, start, look into the schools, if not the workshops. Try to get into this energy. Try to do the monologues, do it in private, do it with friends, see if what finances allow you to go to school or not. If you want something, you should go for it, no matter what. This is what I think.
Yeah, and I would agree with you, and I think maybe the reason this particular person is bringing it up is also the age, because I think it's a different situation when you're 17, 18 and you're trying to make your parents understand what you want to do for a career, because that's a question that pops up all the time. Like, at least in my case, it was, yeah. So I think there is a fear of maybe people being disappointed by what you chose as a career. And again, I would agree with you that it's difficult to realize it at that age. And I think as you grow older, that decision becomes easier and easier, because you realize and sounds very bleak, but you only have yourself. So, in the end, you have to be happy with what you are doing, and nobody can tell you different, which is very idealistic, I know, but that comes with time. So I would say patience, and I don't want to be like a counselor here. And there it is. Schooling. But yeah, give it time and try it out. I think career actors, and I'm sure that it's not just me saying this, but acting as a career is a difficult thing to keep up. And usually people have either side hustles or do things on the side. Absolutely, so that is the beginning of everything. Rarely ever does it happen that someone starts doing things and immediately auditions and every single day there is an opportunity coming in. That's unfortunately the reality of it. So for a period of time you are kind of stranded in also having to do other things. So yeah, that's the harsh reality. But I think drama schools, workshops, all of that can help you get a head start in that way. Meet
Plus,
the right people.
life helps. I mean, you have to live in order to be able to inhabit characters. Not that you cannot do it when you're very young, but you have to just go out there and live. And sometimes you can get brokenhearted, or you know yourself better as you go through life, as years pass by. And so this absolutely helps in your endeavor if you really want to be an actor. I mean, this is what I think.
Yeah, I do totally agree. I've gotten into acting very, very late, and I was more or less, I was way over 30. And obviously I can understand the self-pressure, or an 18-year-old person maybe you rather want to convince the family, or wants to show them that is not the little creature they have groomed till that moment, and he is ready.
Yeah.
Other than that, again, for me, I began very late. Obviously, also the second main reason is because of money. When I started, I knew that my shoulders were protected because I had a job.
Yeah, yeah. That's important, of course.
Obviously, then, sometimes parents, I understand that they have this very, even harsh, way to protect. And again, in my little experience, that is more or less what happened to me personally. Same age, 18. Dear parents, I do have a project. I had a project which comprised also a side hustle to let me go through it. But more or less, mostly my father, he kind of showed me the door. I am not telling you not to do,
Right.
but I am not backing you up in this kind of hopeless hustle. Which you want. And again, I don't hate him for him. I have tried during the years to understand what brought him, so no hard feelings on my part. But yeah, 18, it's usually, if we look at the industry, many actors and actresses that actually made it, well, they started more or less at that time. So time is also a factor, perhaps.
Yes, time and looks and, being in the right place at the right moment. So many factors are important, and we can't control them. It's also, the magnitude of our own attraction to what's coming towards us. I don't know.
Isn't it beautiful? My God, it's coming right for us!
I feel like this is what keeps happening more so in film rather than theatre. That's how I feel. But there is this strange fixation on good looks and ageism and all those things, and it is unpleasant. I do not support that, but I can see how, again, the culture is kind of generating this image. So that's why to an 18-year-old person, it feels like, okay, it's already late, I have nowhere to start, I don't have a drama school, I didn't take any classes so far, and I'm already 18, and people at that age in other parts of the world, in the UK and the USA, they already have agents, they already are like, but I don't think this is a realistic depiction. It's a very limited number of people who actually start off that young. And they also rise quickly, but they can also burn out pretty quickly. So I think, again, time is of the essence. And I think I like what that Redditor is actually saying at the end, like that he cannot actually imagine doing anything else. I think that's the key, no? Yeah. If you want to do it, and if you feel like nothing else will make you happy, at least in this moment in time, just go ahead and do it, and don't be afraid of what the future is bringing.
The future is in the past! Onward, Sail
Now, I think it's time that we go and read at least 2 comments, say from the Reddit, and see if we're on the same page with these commenters. First one. I have worked in theatre professionally for 20 plus years, but I'm not an actor, so take this with a grain of salt. Here's the advice that I give to young people who are considering pursuing a career in theatre. If you can see yourself being happy doing anything other than theatre, go do that thing. From your post, it sounds like you can only see yourself acting, so I think you should go for it. It will not be easy, and you likely will not be able to make a living solely as an actor. But you only have one life, and it's yours to do with as you wish. Live without regrets as much as you can. One last note about acting that I think it's important to remember. Acting is not a meritocracy. It doesn't matter how hard you work, how good you are at acting. Roles will come only when you fit the director's vision of the character. So don't ever take rejection personally or think that you are being rejected because you're not working hard enough or not good enough. Getting cast is 90% luck, and all you can do is keep auditioning. Good luck to you. Thoughts? Otherwise I can start.
No. It's I agree with some of the things that are said, but I also feel like there's so many people that have more talents, and that doesn't mean that they shouldn't pursue. I think it has to do with something that's very intimate to each person, which is know what there is in their own heart. Just to tell somebody that you shouldn't, because it is a very competitive field of in the industry. Yes, it is. You have to really know that you want it and go for it. But the fact that you have other talents and you can do other things doesn't mean that you should forget about it and pursue those, because otherwise, I don't know. It's very much on a case by case basis. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique, and everybody has their own ways. And there can be somebody who's trying to be professional and can't for many, many years, and then somebody who can just make it like from the first project. You never know, I don't think there's any real formula.
I agree with you. And I would say that maybe from the way I'm interpreting this, at least, is, okay, so you see yourself doing other things than acting, which, unless you have that like hyper focus, in theory, I think what that person wants to say, that your drive may not last as long as you need it to. Because I think that the stamina and the resilience is what actually makes you open up to a larger market, meet the right people. So again, just time. And I think if you do other things, it's great for your mental hygiene, actually. I think it really helps to just put the pressure off a little bit. While, again, a different interpretation of that, and I have a lot of people in my circle that actually are of that opinion, that if you do other things, it distracts you in some way. I don't believe that. I think it is good, because then it puts less pressure on you, and then when the right opportunity comes, if you do the training, if you do the work alongside, all the other hobbies, work, whatever you have, that can help you feel more relaxed. And at least, again, I've been functioning like that for a while, and I have to say it keeps the fun in it, because your life is not riding on it. You don't necessarily feel like, if I don't get this project, I will be either unhappy with myself, or I won't be able to pay the bills, stuff like that. Yeah, it's so much. It's so healthy in a way, So that's the way I see it.
Absolutely, you can burn out if you are only focus on this. Of course, it's important, but you have to have some
work-life balance.
Some balance.
Thank you.
Some balance. Yeah.
So personally, I would only say that, albeit I agree deeply, keep on auditioning, because for me, auditioning is part of the pleasure. But to take this percentage, which is given so bluntly, it might also become an alibi.
Yeah.
So go and try and improve yourself. Mm-hmm. And yes, obviously, typecasting, physical appearance, they all matter. They're all there. Mm-hmm. It's good to be aware. But don't forget that, at least as I go in my mental set, is that the people want the project to work. Yeah. Unless they're washing out some illegally acquired money.
Which we're not ruling out, but hey.
Oh, of course, but otherwise, I guess they want the best for the project. So perhaps you can even convince them that the original cast was not the best.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Going to the second, comment. If you want to be just a performer, expect to never be financially secure. Even 20 years in, you can do it. I know people who have, but they make sacrifices. Like generally marrying a partner with a well-paying and steady job, or never having a family because they can't afford it. Be prepared to do a lot of boring or creativity and fulfilling work. It's a lot more background acting, body doubling, hand modeling, etc. than it is playing rich and rewarding roles. There were years where I, doing theatre as a hobby, had better gigs than my friend trying to make it. Because I was self-funding and she was taking survival gigs. Consider adjacent careers like art administration, teaching, tech, as a way to help pay the bills. The drama.
I mean, wow. I mean, this person is voicing a lot of very common insecurities, I think, that actors face, especially when you're at the very beginning of your career. You feel like you don't really have the contacts, you don't know where to go, what to do, what are the right people for you to meet in order to, again, make it. But I would maybe backtrack a little, because I think, at least for me, I think it's all about motivation and why you start doing acting in general. And again, we talked about it as a career, but I think there's a fine line between doing what you like and feeling like you're, again, fulfilling your potential in some way, which, again, with background roles and hand modeling and all that, it may not be fulfilling. And, again, maybe paying the bills, and doing what is actually rewarding for you, which is the difficult parts, the challenging parts, the interesting parts, the messy parts sometimes. And I think that doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to star in a Hollywood movie to do a role like that.
Absolutely, I agree.
And again, I've in this very short time span, I think acting wise, I've had so many projects that I've been by accident that I was part of, and they were all very interesting, very challenging. And again, I don't know how it again happened. It's again, as we talked about before, it's about opportunity meeting some kind of proactive approach. But again, they were for film students, all those things. They were very rewarding. Again, not paying the bills, but that is actually my motivation. That's why I do it. I don't do it because I want to meet a particular person. I do it because it triggers something in me. Yeah. And I don't think making acting a career, personally, I don't think that should be the goal. Because then you inevitably end up doing stuff that you don't enjoy. And that can also put you down mentally. So I think, again, depends on what your motivation is. It would be a different situation if the motivation is starring in a Hollywood movie and having that as a goal in terms of career path, or having that, third, fourth, fifth step being, I want to work with, Ari Aster. And we're like, yeah, I want to work with that guy. How do I make it happen? That's a different situation. But if the motivation is doing interesting roles, then, again, doesn't have to necessarily be financially rewarding, but it depends on what you prioritize. That's, in a very broad way. That's what I
totally agree. A little thing that I would add is that from this post, sometimes it looks like that quantity, screen time, or time on stage defines a good or an important role. Whilst in my small experience, sometimes it's what you find in the role, or what you add to the role, that makes the role important for, generally speaking, you, but for me in particular. We have been on a production together with New Visions Theatre, September Letters.
Indeed.
And We all three, actually. I'm sorry.
A little reunion.
That was me being rude.
It was not planned.
And I apologize for that. In September left,
Yeah,
who were we? Who were we in?
Yeah, I was a prisoner lieutenant, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was a prisoner private. I was being abused by the host of this show. But only on the stage, don't worry.
Because I was being the sergeant.
Yes.
And sergeants were made to scream. That's a quote from an Italian movie, I'm sorry.
Per il sergente una persona che urla, è chiaro? È chiaro?
But yeah, my role was probably the smallest one in terms of quantity, but it had a line that for me it meant a lot. So for me, it was important. Look at the stars. They are so shiny. They remember me, my granddad's golden teeth.
They do make you smile.
It was still warm when I pulled them off. It's cold. That is something that you will find yourself accustomed to if you go into acting. Dying. Now, I think it's the right time to move to our next big question/experience from Reddit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We ready for it?
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Will I come off as unprofessional if I confront a cast member? Probably yes.
Very likely.
So, I'm in my first professional production, and we have final dress tomorrow. Yesterday, we had our first dress rehearsal, so we all saw each other in costume for the first time. I really struggled with my quick changes and was late multiple times. As a result, I got overwhelmed and flustered. And during our break, I decided just to go on my phone and keep to myself because I was quite literally on the verge of tears. As I'm scrolling on my phone, a fellow actor came up to me to say that he just wanted to let me know that he thought the headpiece I was wearing in the last scene was so funny because it was squishing my face. I'm fat, and I have a fat face. And I looked ridiculous. I kind of just nodded it off and turned away and started looking at my phone again. But then he just kept going with the derogatory comments and laughing at me. He made a point to do this in front of people who weren't really paying attention before, so he got their attention just to make these rude comments. I didn't confront him in the moment because I didn't really trust myself to keep it professional. I got up and left, and then went somewhere private to cry, because his comments really set me over the edge. My original plan was not say anything at all, because he's a much more established actor than I am. He has a good relationship with the theatre, director and members of the cast, while I'm just some amateur and no one's heard of. And I live in a location with a very small theatre community where one small misstep or misunderstanding could easily get me blacklisted. However, I also don't know how to deal with having to be around these castmates who I would honestly label as a bully. I literally had a nightmare about him last night because that's how badly this affected me. I also don't want to walk to the stage manager or actor's deputy because again, everyone already knows him and seems to love him. So there's no chance in hell I would be believed over him, and I will most likely be one labeled as a difficult and or get in trouble. So how do I move forward?
Wowie. What do we think?
I would say, very, very recently, an acting coach was talking about Be aware of those around you who criticize your work. This was not necessarily work, but I will get back to this. Saying something maybe negative or don't do it like that versus a note, which means do it more like that, which is more on the positive and more constructive towards what's probably needed from the performance. Well, in this case, clearly this was a bully.
Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with flies.
Or is a bully in this story, and I think it doesn't matter the fact that they are more talented, more established. They are in the same production. Actors should, and everybody should help each other, should support each other. And I would call this person, I would say, maybe I respect your work. I respect you as an actor, as a colleague here in this ensemble, but you should chill because you're bullying and this is not nice. And I would just tell it, I would just take a direct approach to the person. And it's,
To the person.
Yeah, I would say this is not nice. If you have something to constructively advise me, I would invite you to do so. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're criticizing me in a derogatory way, that's not going to help me. That's not going to help you or the team or anybody. And I would just try to, I admit, it took me many years to arrive to this answer because I might have a different answer maybe 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. But as I was saying earlier, it takes self-development, it takes going through life, making many mistakes, arriving to this place where you can call somebody for what they are, tell them in person, I don't want to have a fight with you, just find the calm in yourself if you can, to just call this guy or girl or woman to say, chill, this is not nice, and I respect you for who you are, all that. Yes, I have a smaller role here. I'm learning, I'm learning from you, even from everybody, but this is not nice. And you should just check yourself. That's what I would do.
Yeah. I would agree with you that with time, what makes the biggest difference is where to draw the line once someone disrespects you. And I think a huge part of acting is developing a very thick skin, because you're going to get rejected more times than you're going to be said yes to.
Not my worst review.
So I feel like also coping with these things is a huge part of it. And let's face it, it's the same with any kind of high-stakes, stressful position where you have to do a certain amount of people-pleasing. Again, this person is already talking about it as well, being afraid of being ostracized in some way, or again, especially in small communities, which in community theater and even regional productions, it's frequently you keep working with the same people. So I completely understand, pissing someone off who is in a position of power is a very scary move, a very scary thing. And again, this hierarchical nature of theater is just, it's so innate that it's very difficult to get out of that and come back to yourself and keep yourself sane that way. And me personally, it would depend on the level of bullying. I think I can take a lot. I think I can survive people making mean comments and, again, not letting it get to me too much. But again, that is because I'm 28 now. So 10 years ago would be a different story. And I think, again, I hate to play the devil's advocate, but again, meeting people like this is a huge learning experience for you because you know what not to do in 10 years, 15, 20 years' time when you are the one, who is in the same position. And I feel like, unfortunately, the reality is that there is a lot of people who are riding the ego train. And theater is a place that draws these characters, unfortunately. Because, again, it attaches a certain, societal power. I think here in Prague, it's also, a thing here. We have people who have been on the scene for a while, and I know some of them personally, and most of, people I know are nice. But from what I hear, it can be very difficult because again, as I previously said, managing both, wanting to keep working but also respecting your boundaries is a difficult thing. But again, I would say always go with what you are comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable with something, say it. And it doesn't matter who that person is, because ultimately, it has to come back to you. And if you feel like you'll be, mulling it over for weeks and months, then it's not worth staying silent, I think.
It can be scaring. Like it can bring scars. It can put the people down. It can make them, if they're already insecure and not knowing their footing, it can drive people away. It can say, okay, I'm not good. It depends very much on person to person. But and it can happen in theater, but it can happen anywhere. There are bullies anywhere. There are people who need to feed their ego by addressing people that are underneath in the terms of whatever ranking there might be there. So yeah, it's a question of self development. Yeah.
And I do agree very much with what you both said. And albeit a kick in the nuts is always, I think, a very understandable reaction. Having had a working life before theatre, it helped me build me up. Meeting people who have tried to underpin me in a different or other way, and I got to know myself. And one thing that I try to stick to every time is not making the equation professionalism, career, or professionalism being paid. I try to be professional, and that would lead me to respect, in whatever situation, a hierarchy. So, to go to the point, I would tell this person, this human being, mostly, if you don't feel sure on your feet, don't go to the person. But go to whatever staff/administration member is there in the production to take an HR. We could call it an HR, because at the end of the day, you're
a referee.
Yes,
a referee.
An external referee,
a third party.
Because obviously, I understand. As a human being, I understand this guy. You don't want to be the person who is perceived as nagging, the person who is perceived to be a crybaby or whatever. So do the adult thing, I would say. Do the adult thing. Go to the person in charge and say, I leave this. And for the best of the production, I would like this to be addressed and or taken care of. And if I don't see anything, at least I will know that I have helped this production by reporting this.
What if the referee says, you do have stupid headphones?
What if the referee would say that...
Don't you have to be stupid somewhere else?
If that would be the reaction of the manager, well, then I know that I don't want to be here, because obviously I am the way I am, and I should be at least respected or acknowledged for what I am and not be bullied. But so if even the manager
I'm in an ensemble. I'm in this ensemble. I'm part of it. We are a circle. There is one dot in this circle. That's me. So we should respect each other just by the fact that we are colleagues and we are in this production. We should support each other. I think this should be the norm, and whatever is outside of it, it should be shown and taken to the referee. Let's say we can do that.
Of course.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's an option. It's another option. Yes.
But if the referee doesn't help you, makes you feel uncomfortable, then I think you always have the right to step down from the production.
Which, honestly, saying no is an underrated thing, because I think, especially for actors, and I'm sure that both of you can back me up on this, but I feel like whenever we get an opportunity, and it doesn't matter how much it pays, as long as it's interesting and it's something that we're interested in, for whatever reason, we always say yes. And we desperately try to make things work. And I think this is actually part of that, that you want to keep the work up, you want to
Excel,
show what you've
to,
got. Yeah. Show the best side of yourself. And I think that, again, this can be perceived as like a black mark, or that you are like marking yourself when you're speaking up, because in the eyes of other people, again, you could be regarded as someone difficult. But again, it's a matter of opinion. I think you are not being difficult if you're protecting yourself. And that limit is different for everyone. And of course, there is a limit to that limit. And again, diva behavior exists. Yeah. But in this case, if you feel like it's a comment that was meant to harm, then definitely, I love the idea of a theatre HR person, of someone who can be the middleman.
Shutting your butt down. And that's
we keep mentioning that, like, the role of the director as well in theatre, because it changes. It depends on what kind of relationship you have with your actors. A director can be very involved, but they don't have to be involved at all, basically, outside of the rehearsal room. And I think that also really depends on what kind of relationship you have. But in general, I think, again, the devil's advocate here, it also depends on how the comments are meant. I'm not able to ascertain from this comment or from this specific text if it's really meant to harm, actually. I think the person interpreted it that way, definitely, but maybe it was just like a silly offhand thing. Because, again, maybe it wasn't, and maybe, again, it was genuinely meant to do harm. But in theatre specifically, I can also see a situation where you just make kind of like a very bad joke and someone just takes it to heart. And I think that actually, in like my personal experience, that is 80% of the cases. And I might be an anomaly, but I think actors do take things personally because you're working with your body. It's very difficult to not take things personally. And again, this situation might be very specific, and maybe I'm completely off the mark here, but I think there is such a way of, again, misunderstanding things. And if you do feel like it was not a misunderstanding, then definitely do go and resolve the situation in some way, because in the long run, you can develop a very harmful pattern for yourself of just constantly, being silent at the expense of your own, mental well-being.
I don't know if this is wishful thinking, but I think the people who are more senior in the group, and who have more talent, who have more jobs, who are they should try to double that. But this is maybe wishful thinking, with a good character and with being supportive for the younger members of the team, and. I don't know, the people who, it's a question of boundaries, not just for the person who's bullied or maybe just interpreting as if it's bullying, but it's also a question of boundaries for the person who's making the comments.
Absolutely.
You should maybe be wise enough to understand that this is a raw, young person.
Yes.
And I'm not going to just go and just tell them anything. Maybe
exactly.
If I have something supportive to say, we all can joke, and we love humor, and we love to laugh and relax in between those times when we need to focus.
Yes.
So that's fine. But it's all very, very much on a nuance, and you have to, if you're wiser and older and with more experience, should kind of know the difference in a way, and should know the boundary of where am I really having, a good time and making everybody relax, or going through further into maybe a comment that's not very nice for the person.
That's the thing.
I don't know. It's a question of nuance and a question of a little bit of knowledge of self and being wise.
Yeah, and emotional intelligence as well.
Yeah.
Of course, and just to give a little bit of depth to how this topic, this subject is touchy and complicated. I would like to read just 2 reactions to the original post.
Yeah.
If you experience any source of interpersonal conflict, you should always go to the stage manager first. If you confront him straight on, him being not the stage manager but I guess the bully, it creates a rift in the cast and he will likely circle back to the stage manager and the production anyway. So it's always best to have a mediator. Second comment. Record this jerk. I'm serious. If you think management won't do anything about it, then they are a terrible company. You need proof. You will most likely do this again. And he has most likely done this to other people. Get some evidence and report it. So, which is interesting because it's kind of a median way between acting, yourself doing something, and going to the HR kind of situation. Update.
Okay.
I shot him! A text message. Before rehearsal. I said it was in the interest of time, but it was in part to create a paper trail to protect myself. I sent a very professional and graceful message. He said he wanted to apologize in person, so I let him. I don't know if I buy it necessarily, but as long as he cuts his bullshit out, I don't really care.
Yeah, that sounds like a healthy approach to take in this case. even if he doesn't necessarily believe the sincerity of the apology, ultimately for again what you mentioned about hierarchy, for that specific thing it works because again one party had a problem, the other apologized, let's move on, which is again maybe not 100% problem resolved, but for the short term, in this situation, rehearsing a specific project, you will part ways in a few weeks, sometimes months, and then you never have to see each other again. In this case, it's a small community, so it might be different. But I think again, if this is the way it actually progressed, then I would say interesting, yeah, and actually, yeah, not a bad solution.
Well, better than shooting them.
I got a little excited and a little worried at the beginning.
Yes, you have a production to go through.
Yeah. I got carried away, but yeah, I shot him a text message.
All about the drama.
Yeah. So, I think that having covered this second one, I think we can start moving towards the end of our our first of many more podcasts. I would like to thank all these people I will never meet for posting things so inspiring on Reddit, so it makes them feel more real as the human the people that they were before being posts on Reddit. So thanks to all these people. Of course, thanks to our guest again, Antoanella. Thank you again, Rozie. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
So again, I would like to leave you with a little bit of hope that again we will be soon back with another podcast and other videos and radio plays on the New Visions Theatre channel. So again, stay tuned
for more New Visions and for good conversation.
Yeah, and if you can, please do like and subscribe our YouTube channel. It will help us grow and bring you more fantastic theatre-related content.
And more theatre, hopefully.
And more guests.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Thank you very much again, and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.